Alright, hey guys, it's Mitch, and for my discussion strategy, I use Think, Pair, Share. And so what happens is, I'm in a resource room with Mrs. Colombo this semester. She has a group of 7th graders and 8th graders, and so I decided to do it with the 7th graders, which is a group of 3 boys. And so in the resource room, we do a variety of different things, but one thing we do almost every time is reading comprehension, because it's really important, especially for students at that age, to be able to make meaning of what they're reading, to have their own opinions, and be able to back it up with evidence. So what we did is they're in a health class this semester, so I decided to do something about junk food because that's one thing that I think students really like talking about food, but they might not know all the negative consequences of all the foods they like to eat. So first we did a little brainstorming, which you can see right here. And so what I did is I gave them all a chance to tell me a couple of foods that they really liked that were healthy and some that were unhealthy. And then we went into it and said, okay, well maybe why are these foods unhealthy? And they told me, because of fat, they're high in sugar, they're high in salt, which was great because I just wanted them thinking about those kinds of things. And it wasn't really stressful for them. And because there were so few of them, they were able to really voice all of their opinions, which is one thing that we learned about in one of our readings, which is called Relationships Matter. And in that article, we just learned about how important it is for students to be able to voice their opinions and have their teachers be receptive to their interests in the classroom. And so I thought, with junk food, that one thing my coworker actually brought up to me the other day was that if you put a food underwater, usually if it's healthy, it'll still taste as good as before, but if it's unhealthy, it might taste worse after. So I said cake is an example. If you put it underwater, you might not like it as much as you would at the beginning. So I think that really helped the students kind of visualize, okay, if I put it underwater, is it going to be as good as before? And I said there are some exceptions like gummy worms or gummy bears or things like that, but for the most part, that idea really does hold true. So what we did is we read the article, which is only about a page and a half, and then there was a critical thinking question at the end, which was, why does it take a lot of time and money to design fast food when the food itself is fast and cheap? So the students were able to write down their own ideas, and then we used Think, Pair, Share, which is a strategy where they group together and bounce their own ideas off each other, so they might see things that they didn't see before, which is great because they don't have to worry about necessarily being correct for the teacher, and they can see what each other thinks before bringing it to the whole group. So we had a group discussion afterwards, a whole group, and then we had them all just write a little blurb about their answer and how it might be different after they talked to their classmates. So, for example, on this one it says, it takes a lot of time and money to design fast food, even though it is fast and cheap, because you need to take time to think about the whole process to make people want it more. It tricks the brain cells to think you need more, which is like drugs in a way because the ingredients trick the brain to make you think the food is never enough, so you keep eating and eating. So I really think it was great just to have these students come up with their own opinions on it and not just going right into the text like we talked in Edwards, such as chapter 2, the difference between low level and high level thinking, where low level is, okay, you can go right in the text and find it, but with high level, you're taking what's in the text and then relating it to your background knowledge and taking a stance and having your own opinion on it, which I thought was great, and I think the students did a great job with it. So I'm excited to teach future lessons, and I think Pair, Share is a great strategy to use in the classroom.